구원해준 나의 천사 나의 세상 난 이상 새 고향이 널 만나러
The cafeteria buzzed with idle chatter, yet for Jimin and Wayan the world slowed into something quieter. They had skipped another dull lecture, choosing instead the warmth of coffee. Wayan placed the steaming cups down, fingers tearing open sugar packets one by one. Usually, 3 packets dissolved into her drink, sweetening it just enough. But today she stopped after 2. Her hands froze when her gaze caught Minho stepping through the cafeteria doors. For a breathless moment, everything inside her stilled. Minho's presence seemed to bend the room toward him, drawing curious eyes. He looked effortlessly charming, the kind that made people watch without even realizing it. Jimin followed her line of sight, his lips curving into a quiet sigh as he shook his head. Without a word, Jimin reached over, tore the last sugar packet, and stirred it gently into her coffee. The spoon clinked against the porcelain cup, grounding her back. He nudged her arm lightly, urging, "Drink before it turns cold." Ryan blinked, stepping back into the moment. She glanced at the cup, then at Jimin, her voice trembling with shy excitement. He noticed me, I was so obvious. Her cheeks warmed, her eyes darting down, embarrassment brushing her face like a veil. "Then don't make it obvious," Jimin replied, his tone steady but edged with something hidden. She lifted her eyes to him, shaking her head softly. "That's really not me, Jimin. If I like someone, my face will show it." Jimin turned his gaze away, shoulders tightening ever so slightly. Silence stretched before she spoke it again, determination gathering in her voice. "I'll go talk to him before it gets any worse." His eyes snapped back to her, re- searching. "Will you?" "Yes." Wayan nodded, conviction in her tone. "I'm not scared or anything. It's just a crush. If he accepts, that's fine. If he says no, I'll be fine either way." Jimin swallowed hard, his throat tightening, and gave a quiet nod. The late afternoon air carried the scent of rain-soaked streets as Jimin and Wayan walked out of campus together, heading toward their usual bus stop. She spotted Minho standing alone just for a moment without his friends, and her heart skipped. "Jimin, I'll go talk to him before his friends arrive," she whispered, pulling out the small handmade gift she had carefully prepared. Her hands trembled as she pressed it into Jimin's palm. "Keep it," she said, ruffling her hair nervously. "Okay, I'll go talk to him. Wait here." Gathering every ounce of courage, Wayan walked toward Minho. Jimin's eyes followed her, quiet and heavy, as she reached him. Minho looked startled, then softened with a polite smile as she stopped in front of him. "Hi," she started, Having a little chat before she says, "Actually, I like you," Wayan said. Minho's eyes widened slightly. "Oh, I didn't expect this now," he muttered. "That's okay," Wayan replied quickly, gaze flickering downward before rising again. Do you want my answer now or later?" he asked carefully. She forced a small smile. "Later is fine, it's not urgent." They exchanged bows, polite and fleeting, before she walked back to Jimin. Her smile stretched wide, glowing with fragile hope. Her eyes fell on the gift still in his hands. "Oh, I forgot this," she said, grabbing it with a soft laugh. "One minute, I'll give it to him and come back." Jimin's lips pressed into silence as she turned away again. But Minho was no longer alone. A circle of friends gathered around him, voices loud and careless. Vian's loud, catching their words. "Dude, I saw her talking to you," one said. Minho shrugged lightly. "There was nothing, bro," he answered. Her chest tightened. "She wants to date me, I guess," Minho added, laughter pulling from the group. "And what did you say?" "Yes?" Another pressed. Minho smirked, shaking his head. "Oh, come on. If I date her, people will think I lost a bet." The world inside Wayan cracked. Her smile vanished. Her hands trembled. Her breath caught sharp. Before anyone could notice, she turned away, her eyes burning, crushing the fragile gift in her hand. She threw it aside as if it no longer mattered. Jimin saw it. He saw her bag slung onto his shoulder, her jaw tight, her voice breaking into a single phrase. "Let's go," she said. "What happened?" he asked softly. But silence was her only reply as she walked toward the bus stop. The bus rattled softly as it pulled away from the curb. Its windows fogged faintly from the chill outside. Ryan walked straight to the very last seat, slipping down silently. Jimin followed, sliding in beside her, his presence steady but wordless. She did not look at him. She did not look at anyone. Her gaze fixed on the blur of passing streets, small tears betraying her resolve. She wiped them away quickly, as if erasing proof of her own vulnerability. "Why are you crying now?" Jimin asked quietly, his eyes tracing her side profile. "I'm not," Wayan replied, too quickly, too fragile. Another tear slid down anyway, and her hand moved again to brush it away, trembling slightly. "Tell me," Jimin pressed, softer this time. She turned her face toward him, only a little. Her voice cracked, barely holding steady. "He told his friends if he dates me, people would think he lost a bet." She turned away again. Jimin's fist clenched at his side, nails sticking into his palms. His chest tightened with quiet fury, but his voice remained calm. "So, are you taking his words to heart? You said you'd be fine if he said no." Yes, Ryan whispered. A no is fine, totally fine, but you cannot say that about me. Her breath shook with every word. Jimmy sighed then, reaching out. His fingers curled gently beneath her jaw, guiding her eyes to his. He's a loser to say that, Jimin told her, steady and sharp. Even if he said it was for a laugh, it's still wrong to say it behind your back. His words lingered heavy, his gaze steady. Wayan blinked, her heart trembling. And you? His voice softened. You are worth it. You are worth the bet. Her lips parted, lost for words. His grip eased, but his hand remained warm and grounding. You are worth more than anything, he whispered with unshakable truth. Her throat tightened as her heart skipped. Jimin rarely spoke much, but every word now carried weight, deeper than anything she expected. Don't believe what people say when they don't even know you. You are beautiful, too beautiful for him. The air between them thickened, fragile and charged. Wyan swore her pulse faltered at his words, her chest aching from something she had never felt before. Slowly, reluctantly, his hand slipped away as he turned his face toward the window. The bus slowed, announcing his stop. Go safe, he said quietly, rising from his seat. Wyatt's chest ached at the sudden distance, the warmth of his comfort leaving too soon. Jimin hesitated, fighting himself, but stepped toward the door anyway. He wanted to walk her home, to stay by her side, to tell her everything pressed against his heart. But he chose silence, his eyes lingering. Before stepping down, he looked back one last time. Wayan's eyes never left him.